Hello! It's part 2 of my stimulus checkbook unboxing, which actually worked out pretty well because my camera died at the end of part 1, so very easy cutoff point. Yep, mostly horror, but not this one that I'm starting with, which is Breach of Peace by Daniel Green, who I watch his stuff on YouTube, so I thought, well, it's not that expensive, I'll check it out. Could be good. Let's hope. It's short enough that I should probably just read it soon and tell you what I think. Up next is, I forgot the title, The People in the Castle. Selected Strange Stories by Joan Eichen. When it comes to short story collections, I prefer to not read the back cover, so I will allow you to do so if that is something you wish to do. Have fun editing those to where I don't read it. Next up, I almost said Jonathan Mayberry, but no, there's just a quote by him on the front of it. The Silence by Tim Leben. Hopefully that's how you say his name. I don't know. In the darkness of an underground cave system, blind creatures hunt by sound. Then there is light, there are voices, and they feed. Swarming from their prison, the creatures thrive and destroy, to scream, even to whisper is to summon death. Deaf, for many years, Allie knows how to live in silence. Now it is her family's only chance of survival, to leave their home, to shun others, to find a remote haven where they can sit out the plague. But will it end, and what kind of world will be left? Next is The Wordsmith by Alan Eyre. Walt Erickson is a best-selling author whose novels continue to astound the masses. Everyone wants to know how he does it. How does one man continue to come up with such brilliant works of literary art? But Walt's success is only the beginning of his complex and sinister story. The dim truths behind his accomplishments would be a match for even the darkest of horror novels. As Walt's relationship with his girlfriend Mary begins to deepen, she becomes entangled in this narrative of literary deception. Will her suspicions threaten Walt's existence as a literary mastermind? Wordsmith is a spellbinding and chilling work of suspense, a story that is gripping from the very first page, written with relentless dark vision and insight into what humans are capable of in the name of success. Wordsmith is as original as it is delightfully unsettling. So there you go. Well, the thing is, I didn't know a lot about it going in, but as most writers, I like to sometimes read books about writers or watch movies about them. I don't know if it's an arrogance thing, but I enjoy it. The next up is The October Country by Ray Bradbury. The October Country is Ray Bradbury's own netherworld of the soul, inhabited by the horrors and demons that lurk within us all. Renowned for his multi-million copy bestseller Fahrenheit 451 and hailed by Harper's Magazine as the finest living writer of fantastic fiction, Ray Bradbury proves here that he is America's mastermind of the short story this classic collection features. And then it gives descriptions, which I'm not going to read, but you can if you choose to do so. Another Ray Bradbury is The Halloween Tree, which is a children's book, but wasn't very expensive, and it's fun. It's got some illustrations. So yeah, thought it'd be a short, fun read. Also, really like the cover, because it's a skull, except that it's not. Sorry. Not horror, but weird fantasy kind of stuff. So maybe a little bit of horror elements. Stranger Things Happen by Kelly Link. I have her other book. I haven't read it yet, even though I got it a long time. I need to read it. Magic for Beginners. That a lot of people talk about. But it's a short story collection, mostly just quotes on the back. Saying how great her stuff is, from Karen Joy Fowler, Neil Gaiman, Peter Straub, a lot of people. But you can read the bottom paragraphs if you want. I gotta say, I quite like the cover. Next up is We Live Inside Your Eyes by Keelan Patrick Burke, which I didn't realize when I bought this, okay, it's in the other room now, but I have a little, very thin, little book bind called The House on Abigail Lane. I didn't realize it was inside this, otherwise I probably wouldn't have spent the $5-6 to get it in addition to this. We Live Inside Your Eyes is the much-anticipated new collection from Bram Stoker award-winning author Keelan Patrick Burke, featuring previously uncollected stories, yeah, and an introduction and story notes. I always love story notes. I love story notes. But, I really like the cover. And you can read the back if you want. But I'm not going to. Although I'll probably see a little. The problem is I still have to edit the video, so I'm still gonna see a teensy bit of it. But mostly I try to avoid reading descriptions when it's a collection of short stories, because then I know the concept for something that might only be like 2,000 words, so what's the surprise in that? Next up, local haunts. Let's see. That's the. I thought it was glare off the light. My light setup. Local haunts. Edited by R. St. Clair, and it says a horror tube anthology, but basically it's that. It's a bunch of stories written by YouTubers in the horror community, and I'm gonna say names. Oh, Dan Cobain, Ryan Stroud, CJ Wright. I'm gonna read them all. I'm interested in checking it out. I got it because, well, I've been watching some of Cameron Chaney's videos recently. Really enjoying that. So I wanted to read his story and then also check out some of the other people's names, check them out on YouTube, because I really want to check out more people in the horror community. I really like the cover. Back. Is it in a little TV screen? Local Haunts has taken the horror booktube community's global influence and shrunken it down into one village of horror and mayhem you'll not soon forget. Inside these pages are frightening stories from around the globe, telling tales of terrible things local to each author's place of residence. Oh, so that's... See, that I didn't know either, so that makes me even more excited. But yeah. Just leaning against the closet? There's a lot of creaking. Next up. Chair. Pete's sake. Sorry. Is Autumn Crow by Cameron Chaney. Welcome to the Autumn Crow Valley, where every night is Halloween. Enjoy your stay, but first a few words of warning. Stay out of the forest. Never venture out after dark. And don't stare into the shadows for too long. You may not like what you see. Have a pleasant visit. We hope it won't be your last. Author Cameron Chaney presents 7 new tales of All Hallows terror along with his newly revised novella, There Are Monsters Here, in print for the first time. So yay! This one as well, I really enjoy the cover. Look at that. It's beautiful. In the back. I'm really interested in checking this out soon. And it's just thick enough. Because I love short story collections, but sometimes I get the real thick ones. And this can be intimidating sometimes when you've got this big stack of books that you want to get through. So, yeah. Looking forward to that. Next up, speaking of big honker of books. You know what I mean. I can't... English not good for me. I not speak... Well, I'm just making it worse, I'm sorry. The Best Horror of the Year, Volume 10, edited by Ellen Datlow. Which, these ones are a little bit thicker. I'll be honest, I recognize a lot of these names, but I actually haven't read anything by them yet. Mostly I got it because I really like the cover. And I have one other, on Volume 12 as well. So eventually I'll slowly collect them all. But basically, this series has been around for quite a while now. But every year she compiles some of her favorite horror stories of the year, along with, she'll do this, it's called summation of, like, whatever the previous year was, and it's, like, that thick. Well, I don't know what you can tell, but decent. It's probably like 20-30 pages. And, okay, quick thing, made me mad. I don't know if it was on specifically this one, but on Amazon I saw the reviews for one of these volumes, and someone's like, gave it like 2 stars, or 1 star or whatever, and they're like, this is not a collection of short stories, it's actually just a book with a person talking about horror stories. And I'm like, no, didn't you see at the top of these pages, they're the little, yeah, it's that numbering system. That numbering system tells you always that this is the part of the book before the book. Just flip forward 30 pages and you will find short stories. I'm sorry, that's just a pet peeve of mine when people review the books without actually paying much attention to the books. I had another collection that's considerably thicker than this of short stories on demons that I got because I liked a couple of the authors that are in it, had stories in it. Anyway, I remember one of the 1-star reviews, because it just says demons, right, on the front, and that's all. And one of the 1-star reviews was like, this is not a manual for how to cast out demons. This is a book of stories about demons. What is this? This is not what I wanted, 1 star. And I hope they were trolling, but I suspect they weren't. I don't know, but that one kind of amused me. Moving on. Best Horror of the Year showcases the previous year's best offerings in horror short fiction. This edition includes award-winning, critically acclaimed authors Mark Morris, who I actually want to check him out. I just saw... Was it Cameron Genie? Yes, talking about some... He had just, at the time, this is I think an older video, but he gotten a bunch of books by Mark Morris, and he read the back of them, like, actually, really sounds interesting, so I'm going to check out his stuff. Karen Warren, John Langan, Carol Johnstone, Brian Hodge, I've heard of as well, and others. More than 3 decades award-winning editor and anthologist, not anthropologist, Ellen Datlow has had her finger on the pulse of the latest and most terrifying in horror writing. Nightshade Books is proud to present the 10th volume in this annual series, a new collection of stories to keep you up at night. And then a little paragraph about Datlow. So yeah, if you want to know what some of them are about, read that top paragraph. I won't. Probably will because I edited it, but try not to. Yeah, look at that cover. Get it without too much glare on it. I don't know if I can manage it. Next up is Bitter Chills, a horror anthology by Nick Harper, which I don't know. I haven't read it yet, so I'm trying to see if I recognize any of these names. I don't, but I also have not been in the horror community for long, so that doesn't mean a lot. So I have no idea if it's any good because I haven't read it yet, but I will say that, I mean, it's reasonably thick, like 200 pages, I mean, basically, but pretty sure this was only like $7, maybe $6, maybe $8, I don't know, but it wasn't very expensive, so that jumped out at me. I like that when I can just pick up books without spending much money on them. And I really love the cover. So if you like the cover and you want to just take a chance on a random horror anthology without spending a lot of money, maybe Bitter Chills. Settle in for a cold one. Bitter Chills is the first anthology from Blood Rights Horror and brings together 11 wintry tales from some of the freshest faces in horror. Okay. That's the back cover. So yeah. Pretty book. Pretty inexpensive. Maybe worth looking at. Next up is The Collapse of Forces by Brian Evenson. I really love Brian Evenson's work. I've read A Song for the Unraveling of the World, something like that. I've read that one, and then I'm just starting to read Wind Eye. And I've got this. They're all 3 collections of stories. I haven't read any of his novels yet. A little part of me is afraid to, because some people excel really well in one department or the other, like, oh, they write great novels, but the short stories are meh. And other people, they write fantastic short stories, and the novels, you're like, it's okay, but it's not as good as the short stories. So part of me is fearful of breaking my, like, current, just being in awe of Brian Evenson's work. But eventually I'll have to check out one of his novels eventually. There's not a more intense, prolific, or apocalyptic writer of fiction in America than Brian Evenson, if I can talk. George Saunders said that. Small masterworks for literary horror, Kirkus Reviews. Anyway, it's all just quotes, which, when it comes to short fiction, I understand, because maybe you don't want to give away too much. But there's that cover, which I quite enjoy. And then the back. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking this out. I'm really looking forward to checking a lot of these out. It's so overwhelming, I've got so much good stuff. I thought I had more, but that was actually it. So yay! Tell me what you're most excited about if reading in the future, if any. I don't know why I'm assuming you're just automatically going to go out and buy all the books that I want to read. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Bye. Hiya? I guess I was going like hiya, but bye. Didn't work. Or if not any of those, tell me books that you're interested in checking out, be they horror or anything else. You know, let's have a conversation. Goodbye.